everybody, and welcome back to RoxonniaSpeaks. I am Roxonnia. For those who have not been on my channel before, well, it's all about talking about life experience, health and wellness, and of course motherhood, among other things. So if you have not liked or subscribed, please to make sure that you do that and follow me on Instagram at RoxonniaSpeaks. Well, today we're doing a part 2 of the session that we did last week, the episode that we did last week about my mom passing away from cancer. And of course we have a special guest today, my sister, my baby sister, the wash belly, Monique.
Hi everybody.
Who will be sharing her part of the journey. For the first video, Monique, we went into a little bit of what happened with Mummy, our journey. We didn't go into details with a lot of it, but there were certain parts of it as it relates to the insurance, which a lot of persons were very much intrigued about. So if you missed the first video, you can go back, go on RoxonniaSpeaks on YouTube and watch the first video where we talk about insurance and looking at the clause that is within the policy. We're still celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Of course, Monique is in some pink.
A touch of pink.
I am kind of in a little pink. If you notice my necklace, you can't see it good, but this is a rose quartz pendant or gem or crystal, whatever you call it. And they say that this promotes self-love and helps to comfort in times of grief. So of course we're healing for those persons who would have gone home like Mommy, and for those who are fighting the fight. I shared my story. My brother is not here to share his story, but we would have spoken about it several times, and my sister is not here. She would have been overseas throughout this ordeal, but you were there. You actually live with them. I didn't live with Mommy. So you were living there at the time. So based on what was happening at the time, what were your experiences? What do you remember about Mommy diagnosis?
Well, at the time, I was still going to high school. I don't really remember much. But what I do remember is that you and Jason and Daddy, being there, carrying her to the doctor, ensure that she got her chemotherapy medication and stuff like that, ensuring that she did her x-ray or ultrasound to carry her back to the doctor. But it happened in 2012 going into 2013, so I was still going to high school, looking to leave high school to go to college. So that's all that I really remember.
Okay. So what were some of the things that stood out to you throughout the years while Mommy had to be up and down? What were some of the things you kind of remember?
Some of the things that I remember, like changes, was that her hair, she lost her hair, and how she lost it, it was matted, and that it took time to shed off and so forth. At one point I remember she was saying that she just wants to cut it off. So it don't make sense that she have bald spots and some parts have hair and so forth. So she just cut it off. Her nails were dark, and the biggest one of all is the weight loss. She lost a lot of weight, and even in the latter part, it's like I was looking at a total different person. She lost a lot of weight. So those were the only 3 things that actually stood out to me with the whole changes.
Yeah, I was there and I saw them as well, because she was always saying, must come look. She always take up for something and say, come look, no, come look. Cause I think she had her ear in one, and then after a while the ear started to just get
matted.
Mat up and can't comb any at all.
She had to just cut it.
Yeah, I remember that too. But throughout all of that, how important do you think support is, like having a good support system?
Support, well, it's very important to have a support system around like someone that is actually going through it. I mean, once you have that support system, there's no room for negative energy. You'll always have that one person to speak positive things around you, encouraging you to take the medication, going on your chemotherapy, eating healthy, exercising, stuff like that. So once you have the support system, it can never go wrong because you'll be on the right path.
So you thought that mommy had that kind of support? I know that the family was
Well, not
there.
necessarily. Not
What do you mean, not
necessarily.
necessarily?
Well, she got support from the family, yes. And I mean, persons from work would come and visit and, you know, encourage her, come and pray with her. You have persons from church who would come and, you know, just pray with her and encourage her as well.
Okay.
But she didn't have that amount of support system from
That you expected.
yeah.
Yeah.
From each group.
Right. So the
Work
support,
and
some of the
church,
support group wasn't as strong as we thought they would have been, based on the relationship that mommy would have had with some of them and how she would have supported them through their journey, even when she was sick. Because as I said before in the first video, that mommy was sick and a lot of persons didn't know. Even when she passed, a lot of persons in the community don't know, because mommy, I've been saying mommy worked all the way up.
Went to work and everything, because I even remember a time when I followed her to the clinic to get her medication, because at the time her blood count was low, so she would normally get an injection on Sunday that I would administer. And I was there and we took the number and everything, you know, public setting already, the government. You just take the number, sit and wait. And I was just beside her, listening to her, encouraging someone, and me I said to myself, saying, no man, mommy, even when you're sick, I said, this lady is something else, because I'm like hearing her encourage. And me I say, you're so sick. I mean, weak sometimes, very weak, and you still find the time to encourage others.
Even the stranger, I spoke about it again in the video once. So guys, if you didn't watch that first video, go and watch it, where she met the young lady in the hospital and they became very, very good friends.
Best friends, yes.
Right. And she would have supported her not only in terms of you know, words of encouragement and visit, but in monetary compensation. I had a lot of persons who actually helped to pay for the chemo. As I said, we all know the state mommy was a government worker, and so the salary wasn't a lot, and we had to be pulling from the reserves, from the cash. So a lot of persons they just come and say, boy, them are go pay for a chemo session or something like that. So we have 1 or 2 persons, family friends, who would have paid for a chemo session. Even our friend from Washington,
yes, always.
She was with her from day one, from before she found out about it.
Yes,
right. Before. So she and her church family would have prayed for her, as well as the local church family. So guys, it is always important. Prayer is very, very important. It is key. But also other support, persons who are sick, they need proper food, they need medication, exercise. They have bills and other stuff to do. So sometimes visiting the person and just talking means a whole lot, right? Because it takes their mind away from what is actually happening. Right? And other support as well. So that monetary assistance is always needed when somebody is critically ill. And for those persons who are young and who believe that they will be here forever,
and they can't
get sick, I'm telling you guys, you need to start saving. Yes, you can have your insurance policy. I do endorse that. I just want you to make sure that you look, you know the type of policy. And if you don't have a policy, then you'd have some cash saved up, because you never know when, right? You never know when you're going to be in that situation and you need assistance. All right, so Monique, let us go to the last week. What do you remember in the last week? Starting the Monday. I remember that Mommy's in Portmore, I'm in Kingston, so I had to pick her up one day. I had to go to Portmore to carry her to, I think it was Chest Hospital, to do a chest x-ray.
Yeah.
And my brother is not here, but my brother, he does work overseas, and he came back last year. No,
No,
sorry. He came back before when COVID 2019
yeah.
sometime early,
I think
when they were closing off the borders and they said persons who are overseas can come in. I think he came in at that time.
yeah.
And luckily, because he was there to help with the pressure, and he's from that side, so he would be able to help mommy to go around. And God looked like him know what did that happen. So he was there most of the times to drop mommy and pick up. Um, and funny enough, my brother got married that same year. And mommy was
August.
at the, yeah, in the August, and mommy was at the wedding. I mean, even at the wedding, Monique, she wasn't 100 because she didn't even get to cut the cake.
Yeah.
I had to cut the cake
Con-
with Sash
was weak.
mommy, yeah. And so, but the important thing is that she saw her kids move. You know, we were past the worst, pretty much. So it was good that she was able to see that Jason got married. But even that time, she was sick and she was weak, but she was
Was
still
there.
pushing on.
Yeah.
But in the last week, Monique, what do you remember leading up to the?
Okay, so the Monday I remember my brother, he came by the house to bring her to Chest Hospital
No, I took her to Chest
on
Hospital. He
Monday.
came and picked her up
From
from me at Chest.
Okay, and brought her home. Yeah, so that was the Monday, right? Um, my dad was there as well, but he was there in the morning. When he came over with her and my brother, he then left because he had work as well, but he was like back and forth. So so that was the Monday. So she was home and everything. And the Tuesday, that's when they got the lady to stay with her. Or no,
I think so, because it was getting to a point where daddy was missing so much of work and he had a backlog. So I wanted somebody to be there to kind of take care of her. But knowing my mother,
she didn't
she
want
wasn't having it. And then she is kind of private and wasn't comfortable with somebody in her space.
Yeah.
What else happened there?
Okay, so that was the Monday. And that was a Tuesday. She was home. She didn't leave to go anywhere the Tuesday. The Wednesday the lady started.
I don't remember.
I think the Wednesday the lady started to come in to assist with tidying her and feeding her, ensure that she was okay. The Wednesday, but she didn't really she wasn't really eating at that time. My dad gave her medication.
Stop right there. So why she wasn't eating?
Okay,
Backtracking a little.
All right, so the Monday, that's the Monday. I guess based on what the doctors were saying to my dad and my brother, I mean that's where all hope was just gone. She picked up. The doctor didn't say to her directly that hey, you don't have much time, and it doesn't make sense to keep on doing these things because you're just gonna go back to square one. So I guess that when my mom really saw when the doctor called back my dad, she picked
And
up
brother.
and my brother. She picked up that something wasn't right. It was like she became a total different person. Like by the time she reached home, it's like as a different person. Rain was falling and everything, and she could have barely even come up the stairs, cause it was just my brother and my dad who actually just took her out of the car and was helping her upstairs, because at the time I was in my first trimester, so I was pregnant at the time, so I wasn't able to help out as much as I should. So that was the Monday, yeah.
She was, yeah, because I remember when we were at the chest hospital, she could talk and everything. We went into the room, help her take off her clothes for them to do the chest x-ray, and I guess that same day, Jason even said that she was having some difficulty breathing and she would want oxygen, but then doctor was saying that it wouldn't make no sense she go on oxygen because she would have to what, live on it.
Yeah.
As she come out, she would want to go back on it. So it's almost as if the lungs now started to go under real pressure, and she started to she started to groan.
Yeah.
She started to groan, and then when she stopped speaking,
Thursday.
The Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, but okay, so she wasn't really speaking that much. I mean, um, my sister friend, my sister best friend, mom, came by the Thursday. She said she heard what was happening and she just wanted to come and so forth. So when she came now, she saw that my mom was there and she was saying that she ate, and I said no, she didn't really eat anything because my dad left soup. So she said, what you have? And I said, ensure. She said, okay, go get the spoon. And I went, got the spoon, and she only took like two tablespoon of the ensure. And she called that lady. She called her daughter, and her daughter wanted to speak to mommy. So they were speaking and everything, good, and then she just stopped talking and everything, and she was there back in her zone.
She was just lying down.
She was just lying down in the settee, and she didn't want to tidy or anything at all. And then you came in the night, and then you have to leave again to go to the pharmacy to get some Incopad and glycerin and so forth. Right. So that was a Thursday night.
Right, because when I got home and I saw my mother, I don't know, it was, I don't know, person. It was a different person, and that was a Thursday. She was...
Because when you left to go to the pharmacy, and it was just me and Daddy, she said she wanted to use the bathroom, and Daddy said, you're sure? And she nodded her head. And then when Daddy was bringing her to the bathroom now, she just put herself on the floor, and that's where the problem came to get her up.
Right, so I remember that.
I had to go for the chair, and you and Daddy had to ease her up to put her on the chair to sit. I don't know why she wanted to stay on the floor, but...
Because they said that when you take the chemo, or when you're taking the chemo, there's this heat. I don't know if a persons who have loved ones who have this disease, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's almost like there's a heat that is trapped in the body, and the floor would have been the coolest place to be. Yes. So I guess that is why she would have been on the floor.
Yes.
Sorry, so I was there the Thursday night because I was planning to go on a trip with my company. On the Friday we usually have our yearly trip, and I was there with them, and she was supposed to go back to the doctor the Friday morning.
Yes.
Right, so on the Thursday she was there, and I came back home and we helped her on the bed and stuff.
Yes.
But what happened in the wee hours and
so the Friday now, so I was downstairs sleeping, and that was like 4:15 in the morning.
No, it wasn't so late. It wasn't so late. I think it was after 3.
I came upstairs?
Yeah.
You sure? Because I wasn't up there that long.
I don't remember, but I thought it would have been...
maybe 4:45. I don't know. And my mind I was sleeping and everything, and my mind just said, go upstairs and check on mommy. And I went upstairs. I went upstairs and I knocked on Daddy, let me in and everything. And the light was on in the room. And I was there. I was in the living room first, sitting across from you. And then I went in the room because I see that you like sleep, waking up. You drop asleep and you wake up. And then I went in the room, check on Daddy and mommy. And I was at the bedside, and I see that Daddy put 2 pillows behind her to sit her up, and she was looking at the clock. Looking at the clock, and Daddy said, what happened to you? And she wasn't answering. She lied back down and she was rolling. She was rolling from one side to the bed to the other side. Then she stopped rolling, sit up again, and then she was calling Daddy. And she hugged him, and then they were there, and then she lied down back, and he sat at the edge of the bed and said, what happened? You can't breathe? And she said, she didn't say anything. She just shake her head, no, she can't breathe. And he sit her up again. He sit her up because she was lying down, and he sit her up, and he asked her the question again. And then like when she nod her head like that, she hold on her head, and then like Daddy was saying, Doreen. And when Daddy hold up her head now, I see that like her tongue was coming out. So I was like so shocked. I was like, I didn't... Like, I was so shocked. Like, I couldn't believe, because the first...
excuse me, but there is this heavy weight that's in my chest. Each time I'm about to cry, the pain that was in my chest, it just couldn't come out I think it should. But we all miss mommy and we all love her, and we knew she was a fighter. But I don't know. As I said, sometimes it's just the positive energy and the positive mindset. I don't know if she never figured out that it was there was nothing more they could have done for her. If she would have continued to push through, we don't know. And then again, with COVID now and the whole breathing thing, I don't know if she would
Yeah.
have really made it
Yeah, that's
into
true.
COVID. And
Oxygen.
the overwhelming support that we got from everybody at the funeral was remarkable. It just showed the life that mommy lived.
Yeah.
And I hope
That's
that
true.
I would have can be that exemplary from everywhere, community, church, work, overseas persons came down. It was just the love was there and it was felt, especially from the workplace.
She was just a good person, you know?
Okay. So how do you cope with the grief, the loss of your mother? How did you?
Well, okay, so at the time, mommy passed away September. She buried in October. So her funeral was on 19. So like 2 days after, I called the doctor that I worked with very well, and I explained to her that my mom passed and I just can't see myself staying home. So at the time, I was like 4 months pregnant.
I don't remember.
Thereabout. Yes. And she said, "You sure I can manage to work?" And I'm like, "Yes, just reach out to some persons and get back to me." And she laughed and she said, "No problem." And the day after, she called me and said, "Hey, I got a job for you. Just go here at X time." And I went to the interview, passed it, started working the day after. So I started working on a Saturday. And I worked straight up to my almost when I was due. So working and keeping myself busy, occupied with, my job. It
taking mine off
yes, it really let me, took my mind off certain things. I mean, I didn't leave any room for me to like go blank, like start thinking. Even when I was coming home in the evening, I take the bus, I ensure that I always have my earphone, so I try not to think about it. And it just took me some time, because sometimes I'm sitting there and like can't believe, and then reality come and say, "Hey, she gone."
Yeah, and
So
with her death being on your birthday, how does that affect you year after each time you have to celebrate a birthday?
well, I think about it a lot, On my birthday, I think about it a lot. I'm not so excited as how I would be when it's my birthday. I mean, coming up to the time, I'm saying, yes, it's my birthday. And then on my birthday, it's like, hey, my mom passed away.
So what would you say to somebody who is experiencing this type of drama, whether themselves or their loved ones or friends?
Someone who is facing a similar situation, I would just let them, try to encourage them, try to be their support system, as we were talking about earlier. Having that positive atmosphere around that individual, it's the best thing I can possibly do, because then they don't have any time to isolate, to stress, to think about the worst. So I would tell them to just be their support system, act as a team player, just be there for them.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. You've heard from us, and I think we've spoken well for Daddy and for Jason, who would have been here, and for other persons who were very close to the family and who would have known what is going on. So that's it, guys. So don't forget to like, share,
subscribe, comment down below.
Guys, enough love and see you again.
Bye.
Bye.